first of all, some people may not remember that when I announced for president, the very first endorsement I received outside of my home state of Illinois was say you. I know about your endorsement. Well, I know it's being in Richmond and being introduced by then Governor Jim Kane. He was a great governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. He is going to be a great United States senator. You guys also have an outstanding ex-governor who is making his mark and making a difference already in the United States Senate. Give it up to Mark Warren. Congressman who's always fighting on your behalf is around. Bobby Scott is in the house. And one of my favorite mayors in the country. We love her, and she is doing an outstanding job. Mayor Bobby Warren. Difference in the lives of so many. So we miss her. We pray for her family. She is in a better place. State Senator Yvonne Miller. It's a little hot, everybody. So if you've got a seat, go ahead and take a seat. If you don't have a seat, hang in there. Somewhere under a rug. You may be aware that we're in the middle of campaign season. Yes. And let's face it, it's not always pretty to watch. There's more money flooding into the system than ever before, more negative ads, more cynicism. You know, what you read in the newspapers is all about polls and who's up and who's down. That's all right. Instead of what actually would make a difference in your lives. And I know sometimes it's tempting to turn away from participating, and it's tempting sometimes to get cynical about the process and the possibilities of bringing about change in this country. But the reason you're here and the reason I'm here is because we still believe it. Yeah! We still believe in America. We still believe in hope, and we still believe in change. And I've got yours. As small and as petty as politics can sometimes seem, the state this year could not be bigger.
Right now.
In a lot of ways, the stakes are bigger than they were back in 2008. Because we're facing a choice between two very different visions for this country. And the choice between these two paths for our country ultimately is going to be up to you.
All right.
Now, this is my last political campaign. I'm very happy about that. campaign. Now, I think about the place I used to travel in Illinois, VFW Hall, diners. We go to small towns, we go to big cities. You meet folks from every walk of life, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, gay, straight, disabled, not just, you name it. And everywhere I went, what was interesting was that for all the differences, there was something everybody had in common. And in people's lives, I see my own life. You know, I meet an older vet, and I think about my grandfather and my grandmother, part of that World War II generation. My grandfather fighting in World War II, then coming home, and my grandmother, who had been working on bomber assembly lines, they were able to go to college on the GI Bill. And how they were able to buy their first home with an FHA mortgage. And I thought about my mom, because if I see a single mom, I think about, you know, how challenging it was for her to raise me without a dad, raise my sister without a dad, but how she was able to put herself through school and work at the same time. And I think about Michelle's family. I meet a family, and it didn't matter whether there was some rural area or small town. Just, you meet folks who remind me of Michelle's dad, who had multiple sclerosis, could barely walk by the time I met him, but never missed a day of work. You know, worked a blue-collar job. Michelle's mom stayed at home until the kids got old enough, and then became the secretary of the bank. She worked as a secretary all her life, and they never had a lot. But they had a lot of love. They had strong values. They had discipline. That's why Michelle and her brother could go on and achieve things that their parents couldn't even imagine. And what I realized during that first campaign, and all the campaigns after that, was that our lives all were a testament to that fundamental American idea. The idea that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, no matter what your last name is, you can make it if you try. This country's never been full of folks looking for handouts. We're a nation of workers and dreamers. We work hard for what we get. And all we ask for is that our hard work pays off. And our responsibility is rewarded. And if we're willing to put in the effort, we can find a job that supports the family. And be able to get a home we can call our own. We won't go bankrupt when we get sick. Take a little vacation once in a while. Send our kids to college and let them do things so much bigger than what we did. And then retire with some dignity and some respect. Be part of a community, a neighborhood, and a nation that looks after its own. That basic part is what built the biggest middle class we've ever seen. That basic target is what made us an economic superpower. That basic target is what made us the envy of the world. And in 2008, we came together, not just Democrats, we had independents, we had Republicans, all who recognized that basic bargain was starting to fray, that it was getting weaker. We've gone through a decade that had seen wages and incomes not go up, job growth sluggish, surpluses turned into deficits. That middle class dream seemed like it was slipping away for too many people. And then, just as the campaign was being completed, just as we were making some history, what we realized was we're going through the worst financial crisis and economic crisis since the Great Depression. We knew that turning this thing around would not be easy. We knew it was going to take more than 1 year, or one term, or maybe even one president. And this crisis has been tough on a lot of folks, on a lot of families. It robs millions of hardworking Americans of their livelihoods, their homes, their savings. It pushes the American dream, that basic bargain, even further out of reach for too many people. But you know what? That crisis didn't change who we are or what we believe in. It didn't change our character as a couple. It hasn't changed why we came together in 2008. Our mission right now is to put people back to work and recover from this recession, but it's more than that. It is also about how we restore that basic bargain that every American believes in. That if you work hard, you can get ahead. Our goal is an economy where hard work pays off.
Yes, it does.
An economy where everybody, whether you're starting a business or you're punching a clock, everybody can have confidence that they can make it. That's what the campaign in 2008 was about. That's what this campaign is about. That is the reason I am running for a second term. As Tim Kaine talked about, creating more than 4.5 million jobs, making sure that we're bringing manufacturing back to our shores, restoring our auto industry, so it's number one again, getting health care passed. For all the work that we've done, we've got a lot more work to do. And what's holding us back from meeting these big challenges is not the lack of technical solutions. It's not the lack of big ideas. The problem is we've got a stalemate in this country. At least we've got a stalemate in Washington. Actually, they speak common sense, but apparently it's hard to recognize in Washington. So we've got a choice. The outcome will determine not just how things go a year from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, but maybe 20 or 30 or 40 years from now. My opponent and his allies in Congress, they believe that prosperity comes from the top down. This is what democracy is about. We're going to have a debate about how to grow this economy and help build a strong middle class. And they believe that happens from the top down. They believe that if we spend trillions of dollars more on tax cuts for the wealthy, if we eliminate regulations to protect consumers, make sure insurance companies can't take advantage of it, that we eliminate regulations to protect our air and our water and make sure our children are healthy. If we do those things, then somehow, even if we have to pay for it by gutting education, maybe raising taxes on middle-class families, eliminating training programs, that somehow we're going to be better off. That's their theory. Now, here's the problem. They tried it. This country tried that for a decade before I took office. And it didn't work. We are still paying trillions of dollars in tax cuts for folks who didn't need them and weren't even asking for them, and this didn't lead to better jobs or better wages for the middle class. The lack of regulation or rules on Wall Street was exactly what allowed people to take reckless shortcuts that resulted in the crisis we're still dealing with. So we don't need more top-down economics. That's my belief. That's my view.
I'm with you.
We need somebody who's going to fight for the middle class. You know, the last campaign, I promised to cut taxes for the middle class. And I kept that promise. We cut taxes by about $3,600 for the typical family.
Yeah.
4 years later, I'm running to keep middle class taxes low. This week, I called on Congress to immediately extend these tax cuts on everybody who's making $250,000 a year or less. That, by the way, includes 98% of Americans. If you're one of the 98% whose incomes are less than $250,000 a year, you would not see a dime of tax increase. Now, if Congress does that, nearly 3 million families right here in Virginia, and I suspect most of you will see your taxes go up by an average of $1,600 on January 1st. So we need to keep this tax hike from happening. But the Republicans in Congress are refusing to act. They refuse to let you keep your tax cut, 98% of Americans keep their tax cut, unless we also spend an additional $1 trillion on tax cuts for the top 2%. Now keep in mind, this is the same House of Representatives that have now voted 33 times to repeal health care. 33 times! Seems like once a week they vote, even though they know they can't pass it, they vote to repeal health care. And even though they don't want that, they could take one vote to make sure your taxes don't go up, and they haven't done that yet. All because they want to keep tax cuts for millionaires and millionaires and folks like me who don't need it. Our lives will not, Michelle and I, our lives will not be better.
I know that.
If Warren Buffett's life is not going to be better. If he gets that additional tax cut, and by the way, here's the important thing. The way this is organized, the truth is those top 2%, they still get a tax break, just only up to $250,000. The money they made after that, that's what they'd have to start paying slightly more. Let me say this. If you believe that the recipe for economic growth is to give the top 2% additional tax breaks, then by all means you should send those folks to Washington.
No!
That's not what I believe. That's not why I'm in Washington. I'm there to fight for you. We do not need a tax cut. And that's part of what this election is about, because it represents these two different views, these two different theories about how you grow the economy. On almost every issue in this race, the choice couldn't be more stark. When America was seeing its auto industry on the brink of collapse, my opponent said, let's let Detroit go bankrupt. That would have cost about 1 million jobs. I said, I'm betting on American workers. I'm betting on American ingenuity. And you know what? GM is the #1 automaker right now. So now I'm running to make sure what happens in the auto industry is happening in other sections of manufacturing. It doesn't just need to happen in Detroit. It needs to happen in Cleveland and Raleigh. rich and handsome. You know, Governor Romney, his main claim to fame, the reason he says he can fix the economy is because of his business record. It turns out that his business record was starting a company that's been investing in what were called pioneers of outsourcing. He wants to keep giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas. I want to end those tax breaks. I want to give tax breaks to companies that are investing in advanced American manufacturing, so we can sell our goods around the world, stand for free farm work, made in America. I'm running because in 2008 I promised to end the war in Iraq and I have. I promised to go after Al-Qaeda's leadership and we have. Our great men and women in uniform and Virginia has as many veterans and folks serving in our armed forces as any state in the country. And we're trying to bring our troops on. And our national security is in part going to depend on what kind of economy do they come back to. Can they find jobs? Can they start small business? And that's why, after a decade of war, I want to take half the money we're saving because we're no longer fighting in Iraq and we're winding down Afghanistan, take half of that, use it to pay down our deficit, take the other half to do some nation building here in the United States. Let's rebuild our roads and our bridges, our ports, our airports. Let's lay broadband lines that can reach into rural communities that are isolated. High-speed rail that can make sure that we're on the forefront of the 21st century economy. That's what I'm fighting for.
Fight on!
That's what I believe in. I'm ready because we've done a lot of work in education, but we've got more to do. I want to make sure we are providing every single child, not just some kids, not even just most kids, but all kids, education possible. Our tuition tax credit pays millions of families thousands of dollars. Now I want to accept it. We just want to fight with Congress. Those of you who are over at Hampton, other colleges and universities in the state, and we just want to fight to make sure that your loan rates would not double. Now I want to make sure that we're actually bringing down tuition and costs for college for every young person. I want to make sure our schools can hire the best teachers. The chance to go to community colleges and get trained for the job that businesses are hiring right now. You know, in the 21st century, higher education is going to be a luxury. It is a vital necessity. That's why I'm running. I want to fight. Everybody has a chance. Plan to help responsible homeowners is to let foreclosures hit down. That's not a plan. That's not a solution. That's a problem.
That's a Hater.
My administration's already helped millions of responsible homeowners refinance their mortgages. I'm going to give everybody a chance to refinance. You can save $3,000 a year that you can then spend on going to a restaurant, helping a business, getting more business, fixing the basement, rebuilding the equity in your home, and that's good for everybody. That's good for the entire economy. That's an example of the kinds of things we could be doing if we break this stalemate. I'm running because I continue to believe that in America, nobody should go broke just because they got sick. Anybody who wants to continue to improve our healthcare system, but the Supreme Court has spoken. This healthcare law is here to stay. For you, you're not being charged with tax. The only thing that's happening to you is your insurance is more secure because insurance companies can't drop you because of some fine print. They're not cover your illness because you've hit a lifetime limit. Insurance companies now have to cover young people until they're 26 on their parents' plan. We're not going to let Medicare get turned into a voucher system. We're not going to spend the next 4 years refighting the battles of the last 4 years. No! We need to move forward. And I am wanting to make sure that we pay down our debt and reduce our deficit, but do so in a responsible, balanced way. And that means, yes, cutting out programs we can't afford. I don't believe every government program works. And government shouldn't try to help everybody if you don't want to get help. We can't help you. You're not willing to work hard. There's only so much that can be done. But you know what? We're not going to sacrifice education and training, basic research into things like cancer and Alzheimer's. That would be short-sighted. So if we're going to reduce our deficit and our debt, we have to do it smartly. Get rid of programs that aren't helping the economy grow, but also ask the wealthy to do a little bit more. And that includes folks like me. It includes people like Mr. Romney. And by the way, just like we tried their way and it didn't work, we tried what I'm proposing and it did work. Bill Clinton did it, and we got 20 million new jobs. When the middle class is doing well and folks who are poor and trying to get in the middle class have a chance, everybody does well. Folks will do well because now they've got customers. It's good for everybody. That's how we grow the economy together. All these things, whether it's bringing back manufacturing, construction jobs back, protecting health care, making sure kids get the best education, making sure our veterans are getting the training they need when they come home. You know, all this stuff ties together. They're all part of that central idea, that promise that if you work hard, you can get ahead. And the belief that we do that together. When my grandfather got that GI Bill, when this generation is getting the post-9/11 GI Bill, that's not just for them, it's for all of us. Because if they're doing well, we'll all do well. When we built the Golden Gate Bridge and the Hoover Dam, you know, that wasn't just good for the folks in those states, that's good for the whole country. Because it means we're moving goods and services and people faster around the world and we're more competitive. We rise or fall together. And now we've got an obligation to pass on that tradition to our children and our grandchildren. Now, over the next 4 months, you are going to see all these negative ads.
Yes, sir. That's all right.
That's all right.
That's all right.
How bad the economy is, and much it's Obama's fault. You'll hear it, I mean, they'll say it every which way, but it's always the same argument. Right? Because they know their economic theory doesn't sell because the facts are it didn't work. Right? That's their only message. So all they can say is, you know what, it's Obama's fault. And if we get rid of him somehow, Mr. Romney's going to put it all back together, although he won't tell you. That may be a plan to win an election, but it's not a plan to put people back to work. It's not a plan to reduce their deficit. It's not a plan to grow the middle class. It's not a plan to revive the American dream. And the thing is, you know what? We've been outspent before. We've been counted out before. When I announced in 2008, there were a whole bunch of folks who didn't believe. Everybody now says they believe, but there were folks who don't believe that. You know that's right.
We know that.
But you know what? Through all the campaigns, what's always given me hope is the American people. There's a core reason. There's an honesty. There's a common sense that cuts through all the noise and all the distraction and all the nonsense. What gives me hope is remembering the story of your family because they're just like the story of my family. All the struggles of parents, and grandparents, and great-grandparents, who went through struggles we can't even imagine.
Yes, Lord.
But somehow came out on the other end. Who understood that even in the darkest of night, there's a brighter day dawning. Some that came here as immigrants. Some folks came not of their own accord. Some came to work in mines. Some came to work in mills. Some worked the farms. They didn't always know what was around the corner. But what they did understand was there was something different about America. They knew that in a land where people are free to pursue their individual dreams, they can still come together as one American family. They knew that being middle class wasn't about how much was in your bank account, but it's about an attitude.
That's right.
It said, if we work hard, we can have enough. We don't envy folks who succeed. We think it's great.
Right.
If they get rich, but the main thing is family and values and being self-reliant and looking out for one another and helping your neighbors and faith. That's what's important. Got the security of knowing that you can take care of your family and that your kids can do better than you did. And here's the thing, Virginia, when people come together and tap into that basic, honest core of America, when ordinary folks start working together and point us in that direction, we can't be stopped. All the money, all the special interests, all the negative ads, they can't stop you. They can't stop you. In 2008, I said I wasn't a perfect man, and I wouldn't be a perfect president. But what I said was, I'd always tell you where I stood, I'd always tell you what I thought, and I'd wake up every single day fighting as hard as I knew how for you. Sometimes things doesn't feel like it's come fast enough. I know there's still a lot of folks out there hurting. But you know what? I kept that promise. I kept that promise because when I see your kids, I see my kids.